Well, welcome to Hamlet without Hamlet.
Hello.
I'm your co-host, Tim.
I'm the other co-host, Ian.
What up, y'all?
Hey.
Tonight we have a special episode
Yes.
where we have chosen to go with a theme.
We're going to be talking about 5 favorite movies from different time periods in our lives.
Yes, and for clarification, we've decided that we're going to go with impactful for us, not time frame, best movie of that period, yada, yada, yada. So, we've picked our teens, our 20s, and then the last 5 years.
Yes.
And that's a time frame, not the movie, the last 5 years. Which is good, but not my top 5.
Yes, for clarification, all movies are not necessarily the top 5 movies we've ever seen or of all times, but 5 movies that we just enjoy, play on repeat way too many times, things that bring us joy or entertainment.
Well, I'm excited to hear, because I know we've talked a fair amount about some of your music interests, but the more formative film aspects.
Yes.
What do we got?
Well, starting off in the teens, the very first one for me, which I probably was seeing at an age way too young before I should have, would be Dazed and Confused. And that, so I know I've shared it before, but when I was in school, I was in a small engines class, and the teacher didn't really do a lot of teaching. So we had the run of the class. I was actually a freshman at that time, so what would I have been, about 14? And some of the seniors took over the TV in the room and had a DVD, or no, it was VHS back then. What am I thinking? This is like 96. I'm old. Yeah, it was VHS.
Yeah.
Of Dazed and Confused, and we would start class. He'd take
The TV in the cart?
Yep.
Strapped down with the ratchet strap? Yeah.
Teacher would take attendance, and then he'd go back into the office, and I think he was getting stoned, or I don't know what he was doing, but...
All right.
And then the movie would pop in, and then I had block scheduling, so for the next hour and 10 minutes or so, we'd watch Dazed and Confused. And for a long period of my life, I could probably recite the first hour and 10 minutes of that movie. I've only seen the last 20 minutes a handful of times because I watched that so many times. I probably saw that 40, 50 times before I ever saw the end of the movie, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Impressively enough, it's a movie that you got enough to that point of the movie that, like, the gist of the movie was there. The completion is good.
Sure. But you don't need it.
You don't need it, actually, even at that point where it ended. Although, I do think, so we've talked, haven't seen Dazed and Confused
That's correct, yes.
So, like, it's one of those, like, I want you to see it and experience it, so I don't want to give too much away, but also speak to, like, the joys.
We could always do, like, reaction videos. I know I've mentioned to Ian, he's a few musicals and some movies. It'd be fun to watch with him or see him watch them. So, if you want us to do that, obviously you can, like, comment things we should watch. Maybe we've seen it, maybe we haven't. Yes,
and anything you'd like us to possibly watch, rank movies, or you think would be interesting to hear us discuss, just let us know. But yeah, I mean, the Dazed and Confused, it's all the last day of school, and just some kids are coming into high school, some kids are graduating or they graduate, they're going to be seniors. What does life look like? And it's just like a snapshot look of kind of a real life, kids in Texas after graduation back in the 70s, and some of the like, it's funny, it's comedy, you have a good time, but definitely, like, as I've gotten older, I still love watching it. I've watched it a couple times again this year, and just going back to it, there's things that, there's just a simple joy that comes to me of just like a simpler time in life. Like, I wasn't alive in the 70s, but like even in the 80s and 90s when I grew up, it was a simpler time. And then that's a calling to even simpler, and just like foundations that just times gone past and just things that it has that nostalgia. But then when you watch it, just seeing some of the messaging underneath it, and like, okay, now it's the real world. Now it's life. Where are you going? What are you going to do? Mm-hmm. Are you headed on the path that the world says for you? Or are you headed on your own path? You know, what does the world want you to do? What do you want to do? What are you going to do? And it's yeah. It's a fun, great movie. And that's the one that I knew that no matter what, when we went to the teens, formative years, it was like, yep, that's right out the gate, one that's on the list that I've watched so many times. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you'll definitely have to watch it. And we could do a watch and record. Because I'll watch it again, as I've said. So, yeah, that would be my first one on the list. Not necessarily ranking in any order, but it might be like right up there at the top. So now I'll pass the ball to you. All right. What do you?
My first one that sticks out is going to be my shirt. Just got this when we were in Universal not too long ago, but the Back to the Future trilogy as a whole, which is a little bit of a cheat, but one of the first movies I remember seeing as a very young kid. We were at a family friend's house, and I think my parents were doing like a parents' Bible study or a Growing Kids God's Way group, and we were hanging out with the kids, and the first one was on TV, and I was just enamored with the DeLorean, the space travel, the dock, the lightning, the going back to the 50s, and Johnny, just all of it was just so memorable. And again, I was probably 10, 11 maybe. So this is a little before teens, but it's so formative to who I am as a person. And then taking off of that, I think I would rank number 1 and number 3, part 3, on a level playing field for me. Number 2 is really, really cool to see them go back into number 1, which I don't think had been done, and I'm not sure if it's been done since.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm sure something, but...
Yeah, I think the closest thing I can think of is like in Harry Potter, when Hermione has the time turner.
Yeah.
She goes back into the same movie.
Yep.
And is herself, which again, really cool also. But just to be able to see the movie I love so much recreated from different angles and then characters interacting in different ways. So I've watched that one loads of times. I owned it on VHS. I owned it on DVD. Now I own it on Blu-ray and digital.
Yep.
Bought the shirt. We did the Back to the Future escape room at Universal, which is so cool. As a movie geek, but also a Back to the Future geek, it was amazing to get to go do that and be in those scenes and have some of the props from the movies. And
what was your favorite part about the escape room with the movies?
Yeah, so without giving too much of the...
Yeah, you can't spoil it if something's on there.
The last room you're in before you get out is you're in the clock tower while Doc is trying to get the cords connected outside on the face of the clock. You're behind it so you can see his silhouette, and you have to help him get the clock to the right time in order to have everything function as it's supposed to. So you become part of the first movie. That's really cool.
So now you can watch the movie and envision yourself
in there. That's me. I'm back there. That's me. Totally.
I made that happen. That's cool.
Yeah, that'd be number 1.
That's a lot of fun. I like that. Yeah. Back to the Future. I'm trying to think now because I know I've seen 1. I actually don't know if I've seen 2 and 3. I actually don't know. I'm sure I've seen one of the other ones, but I couldn't specifically.
That's all right.
I couldn't specifically say.
Number 3 is the one they go back to the Old West. So that's set in the 1860s. So you'd probably remember that if you'd seen it.
Then it's number 2. Okay. It's definitely number 2. That's. There was no Old West when I watched the second one.
Would highly recommend. I can lend it to you. We just watched all 3 now coming back because we had it on the brain and hadn't seen him in a while.
Yeah, it's just one of those that you're like, oh, we're going to watch this now.
It's what movies are made for. Just the escapism, the fun, the love story, the action, the things you can't do in real life but make sense in the movie. Obviously time travel, but more than that, your mom falling in love with you through the Florence Nightingale syndrome, and it's just fun popcorn movie stuff, but it's done so well and holds up so well even now, almost 40 years on from the first one.
Well, and I think when you go back to those movies from the pivotal time in our lives, that's one of the things that's so cool, is that you can enjoy it now for what it is, but then there's just that part that takes you back. Like there's the escapism of today, but then it's almost like you escape a little bit back to then. Mm-hmm. It's not like you're hiding away from all responsibility of the world, but it's like, hey, I'm just going to plug into this. I'm just going to kind of relax, and we're just going to take a stroll down memory lane, and there's just something to, you do know what you're going to get, and you're going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Although going back to some movies that have been like great movies, but you don't watch them for a decade, 2 decades, and then you go back and watch them, that also is just another fun experience. So when you get the chance and you're like, because like for me to go back and watch even Back to the Future now, it would be 20 years, I'm sure, since I've seen it.
Yeah.
So for me to go back, I'm going to remember some of the rough outline stuff. I mean, I know but there's going to be a whole lot of like, oh yeah, there's that and that. Oh yeah, that. Okay. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a lot that I'm going to experience anew, even though I have seen it. I know the first one I saw a couple times.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just so great. And I didn't know this, but I learned after watching some of the special features, after watching 2 and 3 this time, is they chose to film 2 and 3 together, knowing that they were going to do 2 movies and release them, I think it's like 6 months apart in 1989 and 1990. So they were able to get all the cast and crew together in one fell swoop, like Lord of the Rings, and just get it done, and then get them out without having to be like, is there going to be a third one? Which, the first movie ends with to be continued. The second movie ends with to be concluded.
Yep. And
then the third one ends with the end. And I sure hope they don't make or remake it. I know that Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd have showed up from time to time as those characters. One of the more memorable ones of recent years was on Jimmy Kimmel. They came out in the DeLorean in their costumes as Marty and Doc, and it was, again, as it was so cool. But I that's one of the few that I hope they don't touch. I think it's just there are those that you just hope never get. Like they just have to stay. E.T. Yep.
You can leave it alone.
Yep.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Godfather.
They're just movies that lightning in a bottle, it's a moment in time, like you're not, and we could, different episode, could definitely talk about the movies where they're like, hey, let's revitalize, or let's go back to, you probably should have done that.
I don't know if we should. Should we animate these animals to make them look lifelike, which means we can't give them expression? No? Oh, and we will. Okay. Great. I wasn't a fan of The Lion King live action. But
noted, won't go see.
Caveat to all of this, there is a Broadway musical of Back to the Future that started in London and now it's here in the U.S.
Well, that sounds fun.
I've heard it's great. I've heard some of the music. I have not seen the show. I haven't.
Seeing that, I'm okay with taking in things going to Broadway because that's a totally different medium.
Right.
So you're going to expect it to be a little bit different, have that Broadway flair. I mean, that's what it's going to have.
Yeah.
And then it lends itself to be a little bit different and an homage to the original without potentially tarnishing what once was.
It's been really interesting in the last 10 or 15 years to see how many movies that you wouldn't think they could make a musical out of that they have. Like,
Oh, yeah.
they got that. They got Water for Elephants. They got The Notebook. It's currently big right now.
Oh.
That one I could probably see a little bit more than some other ones that they've turned into it.
Ironically, I think I would imagine that if they take The Notebook and they put it on Broadway, it's almost going to, the tone of it's going to come up just a little bit, like from the tone of what The Notebook was, because it's Broadway and you want people to be like livened up and engaged with it. So be interesting to see how that plays out and how it feels.
Yeah,
you're really interesting to talk to somebody that read the books first. I read the book. I don't know if there's books. Book. Then saw the movie. Then see Broadway. And then like, how does it all? Because I haven't read the book. I saw the movie.
Yeah.
A couple times.
So we'll see. And then kind of go the other way. Mamma Mia started on Broadway. Then they made a movie and a sequel.
Yep.
Now we're finally getting a movie of Wicked. 24 years since it first premiered, 23 years since it first premiered, maybe.
Which is wild.
So I'm excited for that. The trailer looks great.
Oh, it does.
Cynthia looks great. Ariana looks great.
What a twist, too. Like, yeah, it's an interesting, just the character, foundation of a character and the arc and the build of like, you've all seen it from this side. Well, now we get to see this side.
Yeah.
And wait.
And how good is Wizard of Oz? I rewatched that with my kiddos.
Yes.
Within the last year, and I don't think I've seen it since high school, maybe.
That's one I could.
Amazing, masterpiece of film.
That's one that I could definitely watch with the kids because we have not got into that.
The use of color, the use of music, the cinematography. Sometimes the acting can be a little bit stilty, but that was just kind of the acting of the day. But
yeah.
The story is great. It's just...
It is.
A true in-and-out classic.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've digressed.
We'll have to put that on the list. Hey, that's what we're here for.
We're back to you for your number 2, I believe.
Well, number 2, again, they're not in any particular... I can't do them in order. It's tough. And I just go back to, like, what did I watch a silly amount of... growing up and still go back to and watch today. And it's really like between 2 and 3. But I think just because I've literally just seen it so many more times and I don't know if I quote it more or not, but Happy Gilmore. Adam Sandler and Adam Sandler and like I could pretty much watch any Adam Sandler movie for the most part. There's been a few I haven't seen yet in recent years, but definitely in the early years there's like, because between...
He was on a streak. Billy Madison, The Water Boy.
Yeah, that. Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison, Water Boy. Like, those three, it was like, okay, which Adam Sandler movie am I most, like, is the one?
Yeah, what else? Big Daddy. Then he had
Mr. Deeds.
Mr. Deeds, Click, 50 First Dates.
Yep.
Punch Drunk Love. What was kind of his first turn into serious film?
What's the jewels? The
You Don't Mess with the Zohan.
Yes.
Uncut Gems?
Uncut Gems, that's it.
That's more recent, but yes.
Yes. Well, you're like more serious stuff that he went to, and I was thinking of that one.
And actually his animated one that came out this last year on Netflix, Leo.
Yeah, I have not seen that one yet.
Surprisingly enriching and uplifting.
Well, and
again, it's that when Adam Sandler works, it works because it's sometimes really funny, sometimes sort of funny, a little bit gross out humor, but there's heart underneath it.
Yeah.
That lifts everything up.
Yep. Well, I would say that carries, like, not the tangent, but the Hotel Transylvania series. Like, there's heart through that whole arc, through all the different movies, like family, dad, daughter, dynamic arc that carries through that you just, is just a lot of fun, enjoyable. But we're not in that window of time.
Happy Gilmore.
We're talking Happy Gilmore. and it's all in the hips. It's all in. Oh,
It's eminently quotable.
And there's nothing better than watching Bob Barker just throw down.
This guy sucks. Oh man. Just hits it in the hole on a par 4. There's way easier than putting. I'll just do that every time.
Or even what is it? Was it Will Sasso? That's the moving guy, or who? Yeah, is that no? Is that who it is? Yeah, it's Will Sasso from like the very beginning, moving the couch and stuff. And bet you $20 you can't do that again. Knocks the lady out of the window. I gotta go.
Just Ben Stiller.
Oh. Check out the name tag now, Grandma. You're in my house. Oh, I could. Oh.
Yeah, we actually watched that in the hospital when our third kid was being on his way. My wife was contracting, but not in active labor yet.
So
we watched the entire Happy Gilmore together. So that's now inextricably linked with the birth of my son.
Hey, there you go.
So,
that's a good one.
It's a great one.
It is. He's gonna have to wait a few years to watch it, but
you're too good for your home. Just tap it in.
Looks like it's a little off. That's because you only got one shoe on. Oh yeah.
Somebody's closer.
Yeah. I eat pieces like you for breakfast. You eat pieces for breakfast? No. Oh,
Shooter McGavin.
But that stuff too, Shooter McGavin now, and what he's done in the last handful of years of different promos and going out to different golf events and stuff, and like just having fun with it. Like, another one that just, it's a grandson ultimately trying to help his grandma out, and it's a guy who's never amounted anything in his life, and
he just wants the big checks.
Yeah. I
or
want a big check.
Even their date on the hockey rink. Like, if you make this, if you miss this, you have to kiss me. She makes it. Talk about your backfire. I didn't see it go in.
Meet you on the 9th green at 9. Mm-hmm. Wear something nice.
And Julie Bowen, man, she looks like she hasn't changed, which is crazy. That was what, 96?
Yes. Yeah, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
95, yeah.
Apparently, they're making a sequel.
I've heard
rumors that it's in production.
Yeah, which I'm here for that. I feel like that's one that they can definitely make a sequel to. I'm just trying to figure out who he's gonna fight this time. That's gonna be better than Bob Barker. I don't know. But I'm sure they'll find somebody.
Yeah. Mine is Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Again, I know it's a trilogy, and people kind of lump them all together. And I obviously saw Raiders of the Lost Ark first.
Yep.
But Last Crusade has always been, since I've seen it, my favorite of the series, but one of my top films of all time. It's in my top 3. And again, just for me, kind of the reason that films can exist is the escapism, the fun, the adventure, the relationship of father and son, and going out on a quest, and it's so good. It's peak filmmaking, and I'm glad I was here for Spielberg and George Lucas to come together and make that.
Oh yeah.
With Sean Connery and Harrison Ford, and
the cast that we're blessed with.
Mm-hmm.
No, now which one? Remind me, because isn't there one where they end up? I'm trying to remember which one. I think it's Indiana Jones, where they're like in somewhere with people and they're eating the monkey brains kind of thing?
That's the second one. That's Temple of Doom.
Okay, that's what. Yes.
Yep.
Like that's from early film time, and I was trying to remember. Like those aren't as burned in, but I remember that. Like I saw that one a couple times, and I was just like, that whole scene is like very etched in my mind.
Yes.
For obvious reasons.
Yes. Yeah. I will say, as someone who, I wouldn't say grew up watching them. I think I saw the first one. I was probably a 8th grader, and then I watched Temple of Doom, and that is a creepy movie.
Yeah.
For all intents and purposes, it's Indiana Jones because he's there and he's doing stuff. But I think I've seen a video. It's maybe the first one and the second one, or just the second one, of like, if Indiana Jones wasn't there, the plot would turn out exactly the same. Because he has no actual effect on any real plot things that happen. He's just there to kind of watch it along with us. Which is an interesting dynamic to take.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So now we need to watch that from that perspective, and you all at home could do the same thing. Let us know. Does that stand true? Do you feel that same thing from?
Yeah. So for me, it would be Raiders of the Lost Ark would probably be like an 8.4 out of 10. Temple of Doom would be like a 6.9. And then Last Crusade would be a middle 9.5-ish. Again,
That 8.4, little 8, an 8.5, an 8.4, huh? Just not quite.
I mean, it depends on the day. Depends on the day.
It's fine.
But
I mean, that's what the point decimals are there for. So.
There you go. That's it. Last Crusade.
And that is a great one too. I know I've seen all 3 of those. But just that monkey brain scene thing.
Yeah. No, Last Crusade is the one with him and his dad.
Yeah.
They go back to Germany and they're hunting for the Holy Grail. They run into the old knight in the cave.
Now, is that the one where it's the cups and stuff and you got to figure out?
You have to find the cup of Christ. Yep.
Which is not the fancy shiny one everybody thinks
That's
it is.
the cup of a carpenter, yes.
Yep.
You've chosen poorly.
Yes. So good. And talking about series that they did some continuation of.
They did. That's one where I'm okay with it because it was still Harrison. If they had tried to restart it with Shia, I probably would have watched him, but it definitely wouldn't have been in the Indiana Jones movies. It would have been the Mud movies.
Yeah.
Or Mutt, I think is his name. It's not Indiana. It's Mutt.
Yeah.
I will say I like Dial of Destiny, the newer one,
Okay.
a good deal more than Crystal Skull.
Okay, I haven't seen the most recent one.
Especially the first 20-ish minutes. It's just quintessential Indiana Jones. Like, it feels like it could be from the first or second movie.
Okay.
Because it goes back in time and they use computer effects to de-age him. And it's just an Indiana Jones escape. He steals I think it's a motorcycle, runs it and jumps it onto a train to get in to
normal Indiana Jones
to
type
steal
things.
something back before it gets into the hands of the Nazis, and it's just it's great. The rest of the movie has some plot holes and characters that could be fleshed out a bit more, but it was still fun to see. And as a last hurrah for the now 82-year-old, 84-year-old, 86, I don't know how old he is, 78-year-old Harrison Ford. It was just cool once again to see him in the back with the hat and the whip and doing the stuff.
It's always just tough to when you get that lightning in the bottle moment to open it back up and try to continue something with it. So
yeah. I would say I liked it a little bit more than Temple of Doom. So my ranking would be 3, 1, 5, 2, 4. 4. Yeah. 4 is maybe
So you're saying it's worth going
a 5 out of 10, maybe.
It's worth seeing 5.
I would say yes.
Because it's a better homage to the original 3 than 4 was.
Yes.
Okay.
I think so.
Well, that's fair. That is fair. Well, so I guess we're back into my corner.
Back to you.
Well, staying just in that era comedy theme regime, Tommy Boy. That's
Okay.
Happy Gilmore and Tommy Boy. The amount of times I've seen those movies. Now, I haven't watched them as much now as I've been an adult and had kids, because they're not old enough to watch them. That's part of it.
Yeah.
Plus, I just don't watch as many movies anymore. There's definitely a point where I think most of what I said was probably just quotes of those two movies.
Sure.
I don't have quite as many down as I used to. But I can hear you getting fatter.
Fat guy in a little coat.
Were you watching Spankravision?
Not so much here or here, but like right here.
Tommy, what wingies? Oh, I'm so glad I was here for Chris Farley, and I was old enough to experience, well, Tommy Boy, and the chemistry that him and David Spade had on that was just incredible. Mm-hmm. How they went back and forth, and like, to think what they could have done had he not left early is just, but yeah, for him, and clearly, like, thinking about it now, like, I have like an affinity or a calling to those movies of like the broken misfit, haven't really amounted to anything people that stumble their way through finding some form of success in a very comedic way.
Yeah.
Because he is, spends 9 years in college to not be a doctor. Mm-hmm. And yeah.
Yeah, I think it's great. I have a different experience with it because I didn't watch it till college. A lot of my film experience was freshman year into sophomore year of college, because growing up I didn't have that many movies. I want to say I wasn't really allowed to watch anything above like a PG until like junior year of high school. So I didn't see much. Like the Back to the Future was PG at the time. I don't know that my mom would have been like, yeah, let's watch Back to the Future. But she probably didn't know.
Yeah. So you got lucky. And here
it was
you
on.
are.
I never watched Star Wars until sophomore year of high school because we didn't have it. My dad wasn't a fan. He never went to see it in theaters. He was a bigger Star Trek guy. If anything, like, he saw the movies. I don't think he watched the show. But which is crazy, because when the first movie came out, the worldwide phenomenon that was A New Hope, he was 25 and did not go see it. He was busy playing softball.
Hey, I mean,
which is fine.
Yeah.
It's just a different experience than I would have with film. And that's fine. It's just...
Yeah.
When, Jaws and Star Wars are coming out and defining blockbuster.
Yeah.
And it's just...
Changing genres and changing the landscape.
I'll skip it. Space movies.
Not my thing. So what was your experience with Tommy Boy?
Tommy Boy. I want to say it was freshman year, and I watched it with my roommate, who also hadn't seen it yet. And I think a similar take to Happy Gilmore, as you mentioned, is kind of the same time frame, same vein, similar plot, and just loving quoting stuff. That's kind of what came out of freshman year, between that and Anchorman and Not Another Teen Movie and Scary Movie 3, and just these very funny movies to just quote with each other that you oftentimes spend more time quoting them than you ever do watching them.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of how my relationship with Tommy Boy and Happy Gilmore and Black Sheep and
Beverly Hills Ninja.
I think I've seen that once.
Me too.
So I don't know that I'd be able to say any quotes from that one.
I think I've seen actually probably like 1.5 times, because I think it was like on cable at one point. Like I watched.
Yeah.
But
Like,
yeah,
I think coming into college, I owned maybe 14 movies on DVD. Then I got a debit card so I could buy stuff online like eBay. Discovered eBay. Didn't have internet growing up. And then a couple guys on our floor had a couple dozen to a couple hundred movies. So I would literally because I didn't sleep much freshman year because I had stuff to watch. So I'd go down and I'd start at A and I'd just go alphabetically down the movies that I hadn't seen. So I watched loads and loads of movies freshman year. Didn't go to many classes. My grades reflected it. But I had a film education, I'll tell you that.
Hey. And you made it through.
I did. Somehow, some way. A lot of help from my mother, some help from roommates, and
I have all that to pull on.
And now I have all that to pull on. And that's when I should have started a catalog of my own reviews.
Hey.
But here I am.
Yeah.
Almost 20 years later.
Now we're sitting and talking about film, and we can start going back to things and recalling and reviewing, or watch parties, or first time reactions for the movies we each haven't seen. My list is bigger than yours, clearly. What I was realizing too as we were getting ready for this, and I was just looking at the recent window, is I definitely have not seen as many movies of the recent era of movies time frame as pre-kids, for sure.
Which makes sense.
I mean, it does.
I mean, I was just chatting with your wife at softball on Thursday. How's life? And she's like, summer's here, but none of our things have stopped. We're just as busy, if not busier.
Busier. It's busier.
So, when would you have time? I mean, I feel the same way.
Yep.
Today was a random time when my kids were with Diane, my sister, and Elaine was out at church. And then Maverick was taking a nap. So there was a chance I could have had someone pop by and watch him while I went to a movie, but that's rare. That does not happen.
No. It's tough now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, see, that'd be my number 3 on the list, or one that I've probably worn out a VHS on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I actually had that on DVD or not. I would have to on DVD or Blu-ray, one of the two.
Yeah.
I'm sure that I do.
All right.
There's no doubt. Oh, back your way.
Back my way. All right. Number 3 would be Quiz Show, which I know I've mentioned to you before. I don't remember if we've discussed it on recording, but that is what the name of our little show here is from.
Yes.
But I saw it when I was, I want to say 10th grade in Bible class, and they showed it as kind of this morality play of what would you do in this situation. Basic plot is it's a game show scandal in the 50s in America.
Yes.
Where, based off a real event, where contestants were given the answers beforehand, but they played it off like the answers were being held in a vault and opened live on air before the show. And then it came out that they were not truthful in that, and the movie is the fallout from that scandal. And it was formative for me because up until then I hadn't seen many movies, but also I hadn't seen any kind of character study movies. It has a lot of that 50s nostalgia, which I am a big fan of. The acting is great. The writing is superb. I love TV. I like seeing the behind the scenes of TV. I like trivia, and it all just kind of coalesced.
Scratch every itch you have.
Yes, it all just coalesced for me. So I think it's one of the best films ever made. Robert Redford directed it, and it's lesser known now. Came out in '94, was nominated for Best Picture and Director and Supporting Actor, maybe Screenplay, but it was up against for Best Picture Shawshank, Forrest Gump, and Pulp Fiction.
Oh, that's it.
So pretty stacked year for films.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be mine. And I would love to see you watch it.
It's for me, that sounds like an amazing watch, because it is I do enjoy like the documentary type films, but of course, I mean, play it up for Hollywood a little bit so that there's some more to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like Oppenheimer, I enjoyed. It's kind of a history lesson in a way, with the Hollywood spin on it.
Mm-hmm.
So you are learning some things, getting an idea. You don't know exactly what conversations happened or exactly how they went, so it's a dramatization of what they think it would be like. But it kind of, instead of you just thinking in your mind, oh, what that'd be like, you're able to kind of sit in on it, and the morality around, okay, we have the show, the quiz show, and we're putting it on as like it's real, but it's really not. But at the end of the day, if people are just there to be entertained and they're not profiting or losing from it, does it really matter on that?
That's the gray area. Like, people are tuning in because of the drama of the questions being not known, and then when is there a moral, ethical dilemma there?
Well, clearly with reality TV today, there's no moral dilemma anymore. You just do whatever, and it's reality.
Accurate. I almost got cast in a show. That's the closest I came to success in LA. I got cast in what was going to be a reality show about an Amish furniture company. And they were going to have 3 guys that wanted to modernize and 3 guys that wanted to stick with the old ways. And I was going to be the leader of the old group. I auditioned with a German Minnesotan Amish accent-ish thing with the beard. And they moved us through the network. It was going to be on Nat Geo. Got approved by the network, and they sent us a contract that was a standard reality show contract, as if I was going to go be on like Dancing with the Stars or Amazing Race or
any of these things.
Of like, you have no expectation of privacy, you're not playing a character, you're not given direction. I was like, what is this?
This is really who you are.
Right.
Understand what we are saying.
So,
if you say otherwise,
it was not great. And it had tons of exclusivity because if the show was a hit, they didn't want their bad guy, me, in some other commercial for Gain detergent.
Well, an Amish guy wouldn't use Gain detergent.
Right. So I was going to get paid a small amount relative to film. It was like $2,000 an episode for 12 episodes. But I wasn't going to be able to do anything. TV, movies, commercials, anything where my face is seen from 18 months after the last episode aired. So they want me to survive in LA, not doing the thing I'm in LA for $24,000 for a year and a half, essentially. So that wasn't going to work.
No.
But it was a big learning experience.
Yeah, it's experience nonetheless.
Yeah.
No, I did not know that. Thank you for sharing. That's cool. And it's a cool experience to go through, and obviously God had a different plan to not go down that path.
Yeah.
And then it just gives you like a different perspective of like the people that are out there that are fighting their way to get in, that are going through those things. Like they're taking that gig and waiting tables and driving Uber and cleaning houses or whatever they have to do in the interim, and still trying to practice their craft. And so that's just wild. Hats off to them. I don't know how they, although nowadays the whole world with YouTube and the world that exists for creating your own media just changes.
It's huge.
Because I mean,
if you have the drive, you can find your niche, and you're not going to necessarily be a millionaire, but you can make a good living doing it.
Yeah,
you do it well enough to find a group of people.
What is his last name? According to Jimmy is his handle on YouTube. I forget what his last name is. He's an actor, actually, but he's got his YouTube channel where he has created his own like show on there that he just does it for fun. And it's super enjoyable. Like, I've enjoyed it. Just goofy, fun humor. I watched stuff years ago, and now I just saw that he uploaded a bunch of stuff recently again. So in my backlog of things to watch,
sure,
I might actually watch it.
Add it to the list.
Yeah, but then you even see just like independent, like especially kids and young creators and people that want to act and want to do things, creating like shows around that. And some of those have even been picked up by networks, or they've been asked to join on actual productions of films, TV shows from that, because they're basically able to put their own audition tape out there and be getting paid and doing it from the comfort of their own home.
Yeah.
Or where they live. So,
and I don't understand why they need to heighten the reality, because there's some of the best reality shows I've seen don't do that, like The Amazing Race, which doesn't need to add any drama.
No,
because there's already plenty of it. But there was a show for a while on Disney Plus before the pandemic hit, and they have not brought it back since. I don't think there's any plans to, called Encore.
Okay.
Where it was produced by Kristen Bell, and she kind of introduced the first couple episodes, but they found high schools around the country and picked a show that they did, a musical, at some point in the past.
Yep.
And they would call the people that were in that show and say, hey, we're coming in with a professional choreographer, professional vocal coach, professional orchestra, and we're going to redo the show in the high school one time. Would you want to come and join again?
That's fun.
And it's so cool. It's so, people come back together, share the stories that how this affected them negatively or positively, see where people went to in life, who kind of kept down this path, who went in something completely different. And I think the most recent one was this was 2018, and the show was in 2010 or something. And then they had one that was way back in 1996 or 7. So the people now are mid 50s,
yeah,
late 40s kind of thing.
That'd be fun.
It's really fun.
That sounds so fun.
I think it's still on Disney Plus, but they only did one season.
That still sounds super fun.
So
I'll have to look for that, because that just sounds like an enjoyable experience.
It's great. And again, bring the tissues, because some of they hit you at the feels when you're not expecting it, and
yeah. That's real life, though.
That's real life.
It's good to tap into that, though. I think too much of the world today, we don't have enough, or too emotionally insulated or numb or unaware. I don't know, combination of all those things. Mm-hmm. That there isn't just enough feeling the world around you and expressing feelings. You're okay. I definitely have been one of those that's the emotionally numb type for a period of life, and I've definitely grown. I still have growing to do. Mm-hmm. But I think, experiencing life through other people's experience and stories is just a beautiful, wonderful thing that we are blessed with the opportunity to do. Yeah. And the more you do, the more beautiful life becomes. Even through the hard stuff and the tragedies and the things that you hear, they're just cool things that come out of it. It really is.
Yeah. Check it out. Check it out. Encore. I think it's still on Disney Plus, but well worth a watch.
Wow.
But back to you, sir.
Yeah. I clearly am a comedy guy. There's been no question.
That's all right. Nothing wrong with it.
And it's tough kind of narrowing down some of the early stuff and what, but there's this other side of me that I've always been a bit of a car guy. And it was right around the time I started driving when they decided to go ahead and drop out Fast and Furious. Mm-hmm. And even though I knew cars and all the shifting and the nitrous and stuff and total just Hollywood nonsense that would never really happen. Or
And that's
would
the
blow
most
cars
logical
up.
movie of the, of the series.
Right? But just, it was such a fun movie because it's cars and it's going fast and it's racing.
It's all about family.
But it is, but that is like, they say it's all about family. And there's these multiple layers of storyline going on. And who is actually your family? You know, what does family really mean when we say family? Who is family? What allegiance, alliance, trust, I think the way that they laid that out and told the story, of course, it's a drive fast, blow things up, go crazy kind of movie. Yes. But to watch that arc of officer undercover trying to catch this individual, get to know them, get to know why they're doing it, what they're doing still isn't right, really shouldn't be doing it, okay, I have a moral dilemma here now. I'm supposed to do this, I get why they're doing that, I should do this, you know, and that, watching that play out on screen and the decisions, and then obviously as the series goes along and stuff, and how some of the things end up, playing out from what happens in that film to, I haven't seen all the films now. I think I only made it to 7 so far. Again, haven't watched a lot of movies in recent time.
I jumped from 1 to, I think I saw like Tokyo Drift after when my wife and I were dating, and then I jumped to 9 when they go to space in a car.
You should probably go back.
I was again, it's a fun film going experience,
but it's not like
but the logic of all of it is like,
you can't watch it with logic in mind.
so distracting.
Can't watch it with logic in mind.
3 separate times I was like, oh come on.
But you just talked about that's the fun of movie, is it's like something that Back to the Future, car taking you through time, car flying to space, car flying over other car, through car, hitting a helicopter, whatever.
Pulling other car through building with magnet.
Yeah. But like, yeah. Well, we have so many things to go back and forth with, because it's like, is it the greatest storytelling ever told in Fast and Furious? No. But like, if you watched it from the beginning and you're watching through, like, everything does tie together, and there's everything that connects together. Even Tokyo Drift, which is kind of the redheaded stepchild of the franchise, because it was kind of this offshoot thing over here that's not really, but it is kind of a movie. Mm-hmm. But like, even that, like, you have like the main line, and then you have this over here that ends up back in with everything, and actually all plays together and makes sense. And
yeah, I could rewatch that one again. Yeah. I think I've only seen it once or maybe twice. I saw Gone in 60 Seconds more, and like
that's another
the Italian Job and Born Identity.
Yep.
With like the Mini Cooper chases and.
Oh yeah, those were all great. I think for me too, part of why Fast and Furious, I mean, just the cars and the fun of that. But then right around that time, I saw Fast and Furious and also had seen Varsity Blues. So I really just came to love Paul Walker on screen and what he brings in his characters. Mm-hmm. And so I definitely, through the series and obviously the tragic loss of him, grew to really be drawn to his character. Mm-hmm. And I mean, him as an actual individual as well kind of matched his care and compassion for anything I've ever seen as the actor on screen.
Yeah.
But just that was such a fun movie. And I've watched other ones now, but I will definitely I will go back to 1 and 2 before any of the other ones, hands down. Because then when they had the Too Fast, Too Furious, like
Faster and Furiouser.
yeah.
Fast 5.
And I was definitely young and dumb when that one came out, and like, you know, you're all hopped up guy and like leave the parking lot like driving like an idiot. Oh, I definitely did. I'll openly admit it. Statute of limitations, they can't do anything. We're fine.
Right. No doubt.
You know. Now I could go see it in theaters and not drive away like an idiot. Back then, I was like 20.
Yeah, no.
I was dumb. Young.
Sophomore year of college, I had my parents' Grand Marquis, rear wheel drive.
Yeah.
And we had a long parking lot that we parked at the end of where our dorm was. And no one parked there at night. So it was one light in the middle and then lights on the outside. And if I was going anywhere, it was reverse, floor it, crank the wheel, do that 180 turn and go. I got surprisingly good at it.
Statute of limitations. You can't hold it against them.
It was on private property, not public roads.
The car came back whole, right?
Yeah, every time.
Okay,
I only did it when it was safe.
We're good. Incriminating yourself on film.
I didn't hit anybody. It was my car.
Oh, yes. Young and dumb.
I mean, my roommate did that.
Yes. Now.
Yes, sir.
Yours.
Yes. Lord of the Rings, Return of the King.
So good.
So that whole series was my sophomore, junior, and senior year of college, or high school. So straight smack in the middle of teens. I had never read the books.
Guilty.
And I only went to see the first one in like the last run theater. Like you get in for $2 before it goes away.
Yeah.
Because my sister and now brother-in-law were like, you should go see this. It's really good. It's like, okay. I had never really heard of it before and loved it. So I then went and did the midnight showing thing for Two Towers, which was really good as well. But then it all built to Return of the King. It was a cultural thing. It was a whole school thing. We all went to see the midnight showing. We were all there early. Obviously, it's one of the best movies ever. One of the, if probably the greatest fantasy film ever made. It did win Best Picture. I would have it in the top 20 films of the last decade or last 20 years.
Oh yeah.
25 years, I guess. But for me, it's even more formative because I was sitting with 7, 8 other people from my senior class as this experience, midnight showing when it's actually midnight, but you got to get there 2 or 3 hours ahead because it's not reserved seats.
What an experience.
And then, in the movies, 2 hours and 50 minutes or something. So a midnight showing, you're walking out of there at
3 in the morning.
3:15. Except for ours was later because the scene where Aragorn runs into the cave of kings, right when he runs in, right in the center of the cave, the black hole, comes this white circle. And we thought it was part of the movie at first. We're like, what's going on? All of a sudden we see the film. The projector had burned through the film.
Oops.
Right
on opening night.
Right out of the cave. And this is like 23 minutes left right before the whole big climax where all the kings come and essentially win the war for them, the dead kings. So we're like, what? What is going on? I want probably 6-7 minutes maybe for them to reset it up. And so everyone else is already having left or heading out of the theater by the time our movie even wraps. And it was just a really cool experience because at the end of the movie, everyone was like, one, because you're not sure if it's done yet, because there's 5 endings. But 2, also because it was this 3-year journey that we went on with these characters to get to this point, and it was so good. Just this sit in silence, like just credits roll, the music.
And there is something that, as you talk about that and think about that time when we got those 3 films, not in a 10, 12 year span.
Filmed them all at once, yeah.
And then instead of nowadays where we have the series and trilogies and so many of them, it's like, here's one, see you in 4 years. That's number 2.
Yeah.
See you in another 4 years.
It's got to be a hit to put the money towards it later.
I think there's some things they just, I guess, I mean, you can miss, but it's like, there's so many things that you just see it and it's like, get the crew together, shoot them all, go.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because one, being able to have that same cast, have that same, like, because once you get into character, once you're in flow, once the team is together and you're like, just roll with that. Because then, I mean, tragedy and things happen and different, but I mean, you think of the different movies that have had actors die before a sequel comes out, who are pivotal characters to the story.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and had they been like, all right, well, we're just going to record 2 or 3 of these right now.
Mm-hmm.
What more could they have there? Plus, just having to wait 4 years sucks.
Agreed.
We're just going to say it as it is.
It's going to be interesting now because I'm looking forward to, as my kids get old enough to watch Lord of the Rings, Back to the Future, Harry Potter, Marvel Cinematic Universe, all these, which they're not old enough yet, but to see it anew through their eyes, but also to be like, can you imagine finishing this movie and waiting almost 9 months for this that we get to go hit play on now?
Yep. We could just sit here on a Saturday and watch them all. I mean, it'll be a long day, but
It sure would.
I guess 9 hours. I mean, because it's 3 basically, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then it'd be time for bed because you'd be exhausted by then. All that too. That's something I've been trying to figure out. Like Lord of the Rings, like what is that right age? Like I'm just waiting. Like yours are a little younger, but you know, Jackson's now 12. It's like we're starting to.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. She's 17. Like she pretty much not full floodgate open, but we were just talking about it today. Like what kind of movies? Like, has she not seen yet that it's like, it's time to watch some movies that have been just like, we've been holding on to close to the chest, and it's time. And it's like, Lord of the Rings, it's like, there's still some blood and violence to that one. It's like,
yes. Loads of dead people.
I don't even remember.
And
Aren't
creatures.
But they're all PG-13, right?
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's like, I mean, PG-13, it's parental guidance. Like, what do you want to do? I don't know.
Yeah, that would be up to you. I don't know that I would show it to my daughter before she's 15.
But they're so good, and I want to show them.
They are, but you
I don't want them to be in therapy for it either.
Right.
Understand them. Trying to do the good parent thing.
Right.
Like,
I mean, that's where I'm at with some books. Like, I'd like to read like the Chronicles of Narnia with her, but I think that's like she's probably okay to read The Magician's Nephew right now, but when you start to get in like Silver Chair and Prince Caspian and Don Treader, and there's some
real things.
Intense stuff in there that an 8-year-old doesn't need to experience yet. So
the joys of parenting and patience.
Yes.
You have to be patient with them, and then you have to be patient with the things you want to show them because you're excited to show them.
Yeah.
And then you hope that they like it like you like it.
Yeah. I'm going through that right now with music. Of when I have the chance, if we're driving somewhere, I'm like, all right, we're going to do a little bit of musical education from Dad right now. So we've done Beautiful Letdown by Switchfoot. We've done Eat, Sleep, Repeat from Copeland. I don't know if you know that band. One of my favorites. And then I'll just put on one of my favorite artists on shuffle, and we'll just go. And I'm driving. We're listening to this. Let me know which ones you like. I can skip if you want, but just,
give them a chance.
Just take it all in.
And don't say skip right away. Give them a chance.
Right. And Brooklyn, my daughter, had her first, I think, like, truly emotional experience with music
Ooh.
a couple days ago.
I like this. I'm a music guy, so I like this.
They just wrapped a season of Britain's Got Talent, and the woman who won is named Sydney Christmas, and absolutely stunning set of pipes. Also super down to earth, funny, sweet person. And her audition is the song Tomorrow from Annie.
Okay.
Which is often seen as this super sappy, just too sweet song that doesn't have any substance to it.
Okay.
And Simon Cowell, one of the judges, actually, like, that's his least favorite song of all time. And they say that on the show.
Not surprised.
She's like, no, that's Simon's least. And she's like, well, I hope I sing it better than I did when I was a kid. And boy, does she. So it was like, actually having my daughter just listen to it, and then it, like, actually just, part of it was the way she sang it, but part of it was Brooklyn just taking the pause to listen to it.
Oh, yeah.
At the end, she's like, I'm sad, but, like, happy sad. I was like, yeah.
Because music is awesome.
Music can do that.
Music is awesome.
And then she wanted to watch the next one because she may have done a couple of the songs, but I have only seen Tomorrow, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and My Way, the Frank Sinatra song. She did all three of those, and they're all stunning.
Nice.
So that was really cool.
That's awesome. Yeah. I can go on.
Music touches something different.
Oh, music brings me to life, gives me life, connects to life, taps into emotions. Yeah, I love music. We can definitely go there. But we're not there today.
We're not
there.
on
Movies today.
We're back to you.
All right.
For 4 or 5? Number 4?
It's going to be 5.
5. 4?
Right?
5.
Yeah. Which is, as we've just been talking, like, there's one just in my brain, and I was going one way, but I have to turn back, because it's just the Blues Brothers. We got on the music topic, and, like, it had been kind of here.
We're on a
just
mission
like,
from God.
and how many cop cars did they have to crash? When you think stormtroopers can't hit anything, these cops can't catch anything.
Ride them in, ride them up, ride them in, ride them in. Rawhide.
What kind of music do you play here? We got both types, country and western. That's, and one I haven't seen in years.
Same. I think I've only seen it once, and that would have been probably sophomore year of college.
But just, like, I watched it many times years ago. I mean, it's one that I watched with my dad, so that's something that, like, I'm not sure if I go back and watch it now with him not being with us, like, I'm not sure what that emotional journey will be like in watching that, like, because we both greatly enjoyed. I mean, we're both big music guys, and it was comedy, and it's fun, and just everything about it. And then, like, the cast for the movie, other than, like, your main 2 actors, is a bunch of great musicians. Like,
Cab Calloway crushed that.
like, Aretha Franklin? Like, I mean, like, just that, like what they're able to accomplish in film, and the people that they're able to get together to put that together, it's just one of those things you don't see it much or anything. I don't know that we'll ever see something like that to get that caliber of artists and musicians all together to do a movie of something like that.
Mm-hmm.
If we did, I'd be here for it, because it'd be, all it's done right, amazing. I would think it would be. But you don't tend to get that amount of star power, talent, skill on screen together. And then, of course, it's a goofy comedy, and they're trying to raise money to, save the orphanage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's all.
So,
yeah.
Yeah, the other thing that I can think of that's kind of similar in terms of what you were just talking about would be The Wiz. The retelling of The Wizard of Oz from the late 70s, early 80s with Michael Jackson and Dionne Warwick. And
I know of it. I've not seen it.
Yeah. So.
But that was like my audible pivot, because we just got onto music, and it was like, oh.
Audible pivot.
It was just one that was like, it was in the list, but it's like, okay, I got to cut some, and it was like, okay, I'm going to cut that one, but and it's something too, I don't know what age I actually got exposed to watching it. Might have been borderline on how young I should have been. It was I don't think I could drive yet, but that, and they go into Aretha Franklin. Take 4 whole fried chickens and a Coke. I mean, and then Belushi obviously didn't last a lot of years. I mean, that.
Right.
And then I read, some toast. Dry toast.
Yeah, it's a good flick, man. And you seem to have a trend of the either branch offs of SNL or SNL alums.
Oh yeah, you caught that?
Yeah.
Yeah, there is. Oh, and that I remember.
Surprised Ladies Man isn't on there. Oh, it's a lady caller.
Or, I mean, we could throw out, Night at Roxbury.
Night at the Roxbury, Wayne's World.
But yeah, no, there's
Superstar.
Some of my fond memories growing up was we'd have ski club, go skiing, come back home. It's Saturday Night Live. Come in, maybe grab a snack, sit down in the living room. Me and my dad be watching Saturday Night Live. Woodstock would be gone. Sometimes made all the way to the end of SNL. Sometimes that nice warm fireplace and knockout. But obviously I wasn't here for the Aykroyd Belushi SNL when it was on.
Right.
I was the Adam Sandler, Chris Farley, David Spade, Chris Kattan,
Chris Rock,
Will Ferrell. That's my window and era.
Mm-hmm.
And there's the
Mike Myers,
Dan Aykroyd, Jim Belushi foundational building blocks of
Chevy Chase,
SNL.
Yep.
But what we got in that late 90s era of SNL was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like just hit after hit after hit after hit after hit of just funny.
Yeah. I did see an interview with David Spade where he shared that their schedule during Black Sheep and Tommy Boy was so insane because they were both still doing Saturday Night Live.
Yep.
And they had to do that contractually.
Yep.
So Lauren said, I want you to make a movie based off of this script, but you have to fit it into your current schedule. I can't have you guys not be here. So they would rehearse Saturday Night Live Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then shoot it Saturday. Fly out Saturday night to wherever their locations were, and then shoot Tommy Boy Saturday, or Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, and then fly back, learn their stuff, and repeat. So they were burning the candle at both ends for months to shoot those two movies.
And yet you still look at that window of time and it was just gold. Great times.
Great times.
Yeah.
All right. Well, my last one is Toy Story 2. Oh. So.
That was in there. It was in mine.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
That was, so obviously for me, Toy Story, the first one came out in 95 when I was 9. So I was dead smack in the demographic for that to land with. And then to have Toy Story 2 come out when I was a little bit older and could appreciate film, but still also the nostalgia of Toy Story. I think Toy Story 2 is one of Pixar's top 3 movies they've ever made.
I would.
Adding the characters of Jessie and Bullseye and even Prospector Pete and giving Buzz and Zurg the Star Wars parody of father and son, and the final chase scene through the airport is just fantastic. I heard someone mention this. I think it was a really cool call out, but the fixing of Woody when he gets mended by the guy who comes in and polishes him and paints him and sews him, and like so cool, and from like a production design of the thing that he uses to fix him, but it's also like the original ASMR of like, that's what people do. Like, you listen for the intricacies of some technique. And this is it, you're hearing the stitching, you're hearing the squeaking of the cotton swab on the eyeball cleaning it up. You're hearing the of the spray paint on the boot, and it's like,
that's crazy.
Right?
It is kind of like the OG AMSR, like, that's wild.
Uh-huh.
I have never...
Next time you watch it, you'll be like, that's why this is so cool. But it's just, I don't know. It's a quintessential Pixar movie. It's everything a Pixar movie could be. It made the first one better by association of giving Woody such a good round backstory.
Yeah.
It set up 3 and 4, which were also fantastic.
Yeah, the whole series.
And apparently 5 is on its way, I guess.
I'm here for it. Not sure where we're going or what's happening.
But I mean, even just Jessie's backstory, however short, Sarah McLachlan singing "When She Loved Me." Just knives in the heart, but in the best way.
Yes.
When somebody loved me, everything was beautiful. Every hour.
No, it's
Chills.
amazing.
Just leaves her in the box.
And even the end, like, even as the prospector gets sent off with the little girl,
Barbie.
and like, for the future of like being drawn on and played with and like used and abused, and like,
her name's Rebecca. You're gonna love her.
But it's like, his character and who he is, it's like, it's everything he's fighting against and everything he's angry against because he didn't ever have that before.
And now he got it.
He's gonna get it.
Play with him.
But he's like, it's not the way he thought it was gonna come, and it's not what he thought it was. And he's still, understandably, horrified, but it's ultimately like where he's supposed to be and what he's supposed to be doing.
You're like, out of your box.
But that's like, it's those kind of things that are like just tossed in there. Like, it's like, how beautiful is that? Like, to recognize, like, even though he's like, oh boy, like, but this is what started you being upset to begin with, because you're stuck in a box forever. Now you're never going to go back in a box, unless it's a box to like have you come out. Anyways, yeah.
So that's the 5 I came up with.
Hey, that was.
I do have an honorable mention for The Passion of the Christ. Again, very serious, very dramatic.
Yep.
But again, as a theater memory, that was something that our youth group went to, and it was just, I have never been in a film experience where the movie ends and everybody is just Some people were weeping, some people were praying, some people just stood there and stared at the screen. It was a crazy experience to be part of. And to see, obviously having grown up as a Christian and with that story and hearing it every Christmas and then hearing Easter, but to see it and the gravity of that was really impactful for me as a teen, and it's kind of stuck with me. I don't watch it every year, but I watch it probably every third or fourth year around Easter to kind of bring that back. So
that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that one, as you said, it actually made me think of something that I haven't watched in years, but unlike you, I didn't grow up with faith as a foundation or a relationship with Christ or going to church or anything. But still a movie that I remember watching many, many times, not realizing until I got older exactly how long it actually is, and that I watched it many times. 10 Commandments. And I still love that movie.
It is long.
It is so
It was the you need two VHS tapes long.
Yes. So long. Like, just a couple years ago, I was like, oh, we should watch that. And I was like, kids, I'm like, we should watch this. You know, now, foundation of faith, a relationship with Christ, this would be a good thing. Like, go back to it. And I'm like, it's how long? Oh, that's not going to happen. Like, we're going to have to, like, segment this up into, like, episodes. Like, we'll just have to figure out the breakpoints and be like, we'll come back to this later. Like,
it's very long.
But it's such like, and it's been so long since I watched it, and now with the relationship with Christ and walking, like, go back to it and now watch it through a different lens. I need to. That's one that's on the docket.
It's also a fascinating part of film history, because Cecil B. DeMille had made the 10 Commandments like 12 years earlier, but it was just as sound was coming out or just pre-sound. So he remade that epic scope of a film a little over a decade from when he had last done it again, and that's what we got with that one.
Wow. That's commitment.
And then I don't know if you have seen or have seen it recently, but Prince of Egypt.
No.
I would say that captures the kind of the story, the character arc, the narrative intention of Moses even better than the 10 Commandments.
Okay.
The music is mind-blowingly good. It's hard to believe that was a non-Disney movie. But it's so good, and it holds up so well.
Nice.
So,
I'll put that on the list.
of course, Prince of Egypt. Deliver us! Anyway.
Well, and if we're going to honorable mentions, it's a very, very honorable mention. But it just wasn't... when we were thinking about this list, I was like, what movies do I watch a ridiculous amount of times? But it's also a highly quotable movie, and it may even be a little inconceivable that I didn't have it in the top 5. Did I give it away? Well, The Princess Bride.
The Princess Bride.
Oh, I remember I got to watch it for like some English course or something. I think it was the first place I actually watched it, because they wanted us to watch it because of the storytelling in the film, and watch it. It's like, oh, this is so cool. This is amazing. And just the layers and depth of that movie. And just such a good movie.
It is. I mean, as you mentioned, eminently quotable. Experientially, it's fantastic. But it's one of those where you sit back and be like, if they tried to make this today, it probably wouldn't work. But it was so well done when it came out that now it's just a seminal classic and never won't be.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's fair to... Yeah, I mean, because how many times do we all? My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
Stop saying that.
The man with 6 fingers, it's you.
I know something you do not know. I am not left-handed.
Oh, what is the mostly dead?
Mm-hmm.
He's mostly dead. What?
He's only mostly dead. Which means he's partially alive.
Yeah.
To blaze, which of course means to bluff.
Another, again, extremely terrible movie.
You liar! Back witch! I'm not a witch, I'm your wife!
Oh. And speaking of movie going experience, of course, I was not alive. Wait, when did that come out? Maybe I was alive. I was very young if I was alive. What year did it come out?
Princess Bride?
Yeah.
That's probably 87.
I was going to say, I was like, wait a minute, I was probably alive. But I would have been 5. So, they did a re-release at Marcus Theaters. Like a $5 movie thing, you could go and see it in theaters with people.
Mm-hmm.
So much fun. Because at the point of people going in there for that, like, it's either people are experiencing it for the first time because somebody's like, you have to come see this.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's the people that are the true fans that, like, are quoting along with the movie, laughing as it's coming because we know it's coming. Like, and that, the theater experience where the whole theater is in, it's just one, like in the new age time with the digital media and stuff going straight to streaming and stuff, that's the one thing that I don't know how the landscape will iron out over the next decade or two. But I really hope we don't lose all those experiences, because there's just something to that experience. And like, that's, to this day, one of the greatest theater experiences, which I contemplated for my 20s as we're moving along into that. Didn't make the list, but going to the opening night of Team America World Police. And that place was a riot the entire night. Non-stop. And the experience, and I can tell you how pivotal of an experience it was, because I didn't see it once in theaters. I saw it 3 times in theaters. And every time I went back, it was longer since it had been released. Less people in there, less engagement. And it just wasn't the same after.
Yeah.
But that initial, like you're sharing, like the opening night, Return of the King,
Mm-hmm.
everybody's there. Like, there's just something that, like, the energy together.
It's hard to beat.
Is
I mean,
incredible.
I experienced that with the Matrix trilogies. I experienced that with a few of the Marvel films. I experienced that with King Kong, Peter Jackson's version. Again, the people that wanted to be there at midnight for a 3-hour movie
Yep.
was amazing. Inception,
That's a movie.
mind-blowing to
That's
see
a
that
movie.
for the first time. But Star Wars, to see Star Wars Episode 3 and then The Force Awakens opening night with crowds that want to be there, that have been pumped to see these, it was just indescribable.
Yeah. There's something to that just crowd together. And it's probably why I love music so much and live music.
Yeah.
Because I think you get more of that when you go to live music, because people are there for it. So it's not like they're in town for a week. It's like, here's the one show for you to see them this year, maybe for 5 years, who knows.
Mm-hmm.
So, well,
And that
time to age up.
is the teens.
Yeah.
Tell us what you thought. What would be your ranking? Let us know if we were right, if we were wrong, if you changed anything. There you go.
Yeah.